Welcome back to Mental Models Daily, where we explore one mental model each day to help you elevate your daily decision-making. Today we're diving into a revolutionary concept that changed how we understand human decision-making: prospect theory. Prospect theory, developed by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, explains how people make decisions under uncertainty. The theory reveals that we're not purely rational when evaluating potential gains and losses. We feel losses more intensely than equivalent gains, and we evaluate outcomes relative to reference points rather than absolute values. Think of it as a map of the hidden psychological terrain that shapes our choices, especially when risks are involved. A compelling historical example comes from the insurance industry in the 1980s. When Pennsylvania reformed its car insurance laws, residents were offered two options: a cheaper policy with limited rights to sue, the default, or a more expensive policy with full rights to sue. New Jersey offered the same choice, but reversed the default. Remarkably, most people in each state kept their default option, despite identical choices. This perfectly illustrated prospect theory's insight about reference points. People weren't evaluating the options in absolute terms, but relative to what they considered the status quo. In today's business world, consider the story of Duolingo. When redesigning their app's reward system, they applied prospect theory's insights about loss aversion. Instead of simply rewarding streak maintenance, they introduced the streak freeze feature, allowing users to maintain their streak even if they miss a day, but only if they purchase the freeze in advance. This leveraged people's stronger aversion to losing their streak than their desire to extend it. The result? Dramatically improved user engagement and retention. They weren't just gamifying language learning, they were aligning their product with fundamental human psychology. So, how can we apply prospect theory in our daily lives? Firstly, we can use it to make better financial decisions. Understanding that we're naturally loss-averse helps us avoid emotional investment decisions during market downturns. Instead of panic selling when stocks drop, recognize that your intense feelings about losses might be clouding your judgment. It's like having an emotional circuit breaker that prevents costly reactive decisions. Secondly, we can apply it to goal setting and habit formation. Instead of focusing only on potential gains, frame changes in terms of avoiding losses. Rather than earning a healthy lifestyle, think about not losing your mobility and independence as you age. It's like having a psychological leverage tool that helps you maintain motivation through both positive and negative reinforcement. Thirdly, we can use it to improve our negotiation strategies. Understanding that people are more motivated to avoid losses than acquire gains, you might frame proposals in terms of what the other party stands to lose by not accepting, rather than what they'll gain by agreeing. It's like having a persuasion compass that helps you navigate other people's decision-making patterns. In conclusion, prospect theory reminds us that human decision-making isn't purely rational. It's deeply influenced by how choices are framed, our reference points, and our asymmetric response to gains and losses. By understanding these psychological patterns, we can make better decisions ourselves and better understand the decisions of others. In a world full of uncertainty, prospect theory gives us a map for navigating the complex territory of human choice. Thank you for joining me today on Mental Models Daily. Until next time, may your choices be wise, your losses be minimal, and your gains be properly valued. For more mental models, please visit mentalmodelsdaily.com or find us on X or Instagram. Our podcast music was provided by the podcasthost.com and Alitu, the podcast maker. Find your own free podcast music over at thepodcasthost.com/free music.